And then you have all these colleges still getting the same exact funding from these people that the colleges bash, that all the gender studies professors and all the woke professors go after. Oh, but we don't want to cause trouble. I'll just give you a nice little donation, James. I'll give money to Atheists for Liberty or New Discourses, but I still want to give money to my alma mater. Great. Yeah, thanks for continuing to be part of the freaking problem. Have you encountered some of those people who are willing to talk the talk on that, but not actually put in the work?
I mean, a little bit. I think that people still have very strong and resonant, like emotional and effective ties to their alma mater. It was an important thing to them. In some cases, it was an important thing to their family. They worked hard to, get a degree. It gave them a step up in life. They wanted to give that, a lot of them are legacy kids. They want to give it to their kids too. And there's like this whole kind of complicated emotional thing. And I mean, I get that. And they don't want to rock the boat because I don't know. I still get freaking letters from my colleges asking me for money, even though I've studiously ignored them for years. But the thing is, what people have to realize, and I'm going to just borrow straight from Brett Weinstein here. You mentioned Peter. Peter and I were at Brett Weinstein's house like a little over 5 years ago, and we had dinner and we were talking to Brett and Heather, and there are a few others there. And Brett was standing there we weren't in the kitchen anymore. We were in the next thing across the way or whatever. And we're standing there and he says, the universities are sick and we have to understand what kind of sickness they have. Do they have the flu? In which case they're going to have a bout of fever. They're probably going to recover on their own. They're going to get better. They'll course correct. Do they have cancer? Is it the kind of cancer that we can treat? Is it operable? Do we need something like radiation? Or is it metastatic cancer? In which case it's toast. Or kind of worst case scenario, and this is sort of Brett's genius. He said, does the university system have rabies? Because once your dog gets rabies, it ain't your dog anymore. It doesn't matter how much you love your dog. This is exactly what he said. It doesn't matter how much you love your dog. Once it gets rabies, it ain't your dog anymore. And it's a danger to itself and others. And the thing is I just don't think people realize, and we're starting to get to pull that back for people. Certainly Bill Ackman's getting an eyeful of it right now with Harvard. He's a Harvard alumnus. And, people are just starting to get this notion that the universities they're not, young people and some weird faculty off course a little bit. They are structurally really bad, and they're designed structurally to reinforce those errors. Hundreds of DEI faculty or administration, I really should say, per campus. Just an extraordinary administrative apparatus meant to keep that going. The professors are completely ideologically locked because of years and years and years, decades now of selective pressures at work and in hiring and in promotion and tenure. Student body that is virtually out of control in significant numbers. It's not the entire student body, but it's significant numbers. I mean, I gave a talk at Northwestern University sometime over the summer, or I guess it had to be in the spring because before school let out. And they let a bunch of the woke kids in to heckle me while I talked. And it's like, whatever. And when I would talk, I was talking about how intersectionality derives from Maoist thinking. And when I was talking and I'd bring up Mao and Mao rounding up and killing landlords and things, the woke kids would cheer. So it's like, I don't think that they're ignorant to what they're doing. I think
they're not on the same plane of existence.
And
they're in a completely different world. And I started to accept that.
The faculty, the administration are caught by them too. I mean, I've heard this from so many CEOs that the thing that they're the most afraid of is their own employees. They're not that afraid of a bad PR run in the news or whatever. They're not that afraid of the New York Times, although it can do some major damage. What they're most afraid of is a woke earthquake happening in their own employees. So you get a handful or a small percentage even of woke employees, and it can cause a nightmare inside your entire organization. Well, in universities, it's not everybody, but it's not a small percentage. It's a very significant percentage. In fact, it's the largest percentage of any subpopulation is the woke subpopulation of colleges. And so it's a nightmare. So these things have rabies effectively. It's not even metastatic cancer. It's rabies, and everything that they bite gets infected and is going to have to either go through a very horrific treatment, or it's going to also get rabies, infect other things, and die. And we're watching this play out with Harvard, but people are giving money because they haven't realized it's that bad. I remember actually, I'm not going to take some credit I don't deserve, because Brett was saying that in 2018 that he thought that the university might have rabies. And I thought, that's just crazy. I don't know. No way. And, we had literally just done the grievance studies affair. We were at his house because we had told him earlier in the afternoon before anybody knew about it, like 2 days before it came out, 3 days before it came out. It was the end of September in 2018. And I thought, no, it can still self-correct. It can course correct. But no, it can't. And giving money to these things is just an absolute catastrophe. It's not enough, though, frankly. What actually, the universities, especially ones like Harvard, have $50+ billion endowments. They can stand to lose a bill or two. It's like it's not a big deal for them. I've heard of state schools that got threatened by their state government. We're going to cut off your funding if you don't get rid of the DEI, and they're like, it's only 11% of our budget. Why do we care? Like, we'll just raise tuition. We'll just charge the kids more. They're not worried about it. And so, like, with the money, the only path I see is to fix it. And this is why I push this campaign. And I don't think it's going to be everybody. And of course, I don't mean everybody, but you have to be simple for a campaign, which is stop hiring college graduates and then give the guys who graduate, the people who graduate, an opportunity to turn around and sue the school for damaging the brand of the degree that they just earned. The school, I don't know where it is, but there's a clever legal argument that the school has a fiduciary duty to deliver on the degree having value, whereas instead employers are now looking at university degrees as huge liabilities. I just saw a survey showing of 800 employers. It was popped up on my Instagram, said that 47% or 45%, something like that, of employers in this survey see they're dropping, I should say, the college degree requirement for many of their jobs because they see it as a liability.